your greatest achievement as a breeder?
Oh, man. As far as an achievement, I mean, it would just, well, like this, what we're doing today. The fact that somebody comes from the other side of the country and thinks highly enough of us to want to stop and hang out and do an interview, you know, just like when, you know, I told you before, Manny's done interviews and stuff like that. I guess the people you meet, the lifetime friends you meet, that sort of thing. I mean, I know you're referring more to what kind of chickens and stuff like that, but the better achievement of it all is just, you know, I'm by far not any kind of famous person or famous breeder, but just getting to meet the friends around the world and the people that think highly enough of you to want to sit down and do an interview with, you know, that's the biggest achievement. Now, as far as the chickens go, you know, everything y'all seen here in video today, from the toppies to the sweaters to the, you know, to the ACL blood, I mean, I'm proud of everything, so I really don't have a specific achievement out of it that I could really say. I've grown a lot as a breeder, and maybe not as much on, like, I'm not gonna say every day, every brood season that I feel like I just learn a ton about which chickens I'm gonna put in here. I mean, you kind of walked around and seen how I've got X amount of pullets already selected for X rooster, and they're put together out here for when I do start breeding them. But more so on the health and medication wise and stuff, like we was talking about earlier. I mean, you can go spend money and buy the best trios that money can buy. You know, you can go to some of these biggest farms that there is and buy really good chickens, but just because you put that brood pen together, or they pick it out for you, you know, an ace breeder picks that pen out for you. If you can't keep them healthy from birth, that's the biggest waste of time you ever do in your life. And learning about health and those different types of medications, like we've talked about from the excellence and stuff like that, that will literally change your life as a breeder. Because for one, you buy 5 trios of these different lines that you love. If you can't raise but 2 chickens out of each trio a year, I mean, you're gonna hate what you're doing within just a year's time. You're gonna be like, I'm done with it, I'm getting out of it. To where all you need is a little teaspoonful of different powders every once in a while in the water, and they just thrive from it, you know.
Do you have any tips for beginning breeders?
That pretty much reverts back to what I just said. That's number one. I mean, for one, find a breeder that you like their fowl and that you can, you know, feel like you can trust to start with. Depending on what you're looking for, don't be scared to not go buy a high dollar trio at first of pure blood. Go to some of these breeders and say, you know, pick me out a cross stag of this line and some cross pullets of this line. You know, if you're just starting out, you can get, you know, somebody will take care of you, a breeder will, and sell you some crosses a lot cheaper, and you can start raising off that your first round until you figure out how to medicate, vaccinate, the whole 9 yards before you spend a fortune. Because, I mean, y'all know how it is. You can go, and it's easy to get mesmerized. I mean, we got more chickens than I ever need here, but I still go to, like, my buddy Jerry's farm, you know, we were talking about, or you see Carol's farm. You know, it don't take but a second to look at something like, I'd like to have that trio of that. And you look at that kind, you're like, I'd like to have that trio, you know, and before you know it, you've done spent a fortune, and you hadn't got the basics down of how to hatch him off, medicated, vaccinated, get him growing. You can be tied up, you know, if you could tie yourself up 10 grand by the time you went and got 5 or 6 trios, your incubator and all that stuff, to where you can get the stuff you need and just go get you a good cross trio that you're going to be happy with, to get you playing and experimenting until you get it figured out, I guess I'd say.
Tip for any breeder looking to go commercial?
That's going to play a big portion in your medicine and stuff as far as raising the fowl. You're still going to have to make sure you have selected good trios to raise good stuff out of. And this is kind of not necessarily on the subject of chickens, but don't lie to people. Don't try to cheat people. You know, you have to take care of people. If you're going to go commercial with it, your name's going to be everything. And we all know the way social media and stuff is nowadays. I mean, if you do somebody wrong, you deserve what you get anyways. But if you do somebody wrong and it goes on there, you went from spending a lot of money to get set up to go commercial to you're gonna be stuck with all your chickens. You're done. You know, it's that fast with it. So the honesty and being good to people, that's gonna go a long ways when it comes to going commercial. And the rest of it's just gonna be your facilities. You know, you have to understand, like y'all are from California. If you don't have a lot of rain there, at 4 weeks old, a baby chick can go outside. He's gonna survive. Just don't get too many in one spot where they're gonna pile up in a corner at night and kill themselves. Here in Alabama, y'all feel the temperature today. It's in the low 40s and it rained all day yesterday. If you had 500 chicks out and you didn't have somewhere, even if they're up 6 weeks old, you didn't have somewhere where they can get back in the dry and get warm when it started raining like that, you're gonna throw away buckets of birds. So I mean, you can spend a ton of money just by where if you would have just did a little different on your facilities, it would have took care of itself.
What are some breeders you looked up to?
Yeah, we've known a lot of these guys. I mean, you know, back when we used to sell the medicine, like I said, we got to meet a ton of the different guys. I told you I really thought highly of Bruce, you know, that Jonas's dad, Bruce Barnett. But I always go back to saying Jerry Atkins at Slick Lizard. You know, him and Scott have, and all these guys have treated us good. Carol Neesmith, I love him to death. He's always been good to us. I know y'all just recently went to Gators Farm, and he's a good dude. I like all these guys, but Jerry, I guess we've had so many sit-down conversations that, and I trust Jerry. He's a good, honest guy. That Jerry Atkins at Slick Lizard Farm, he's one of the best people I know when it comes to the chickens, and he's probably forgot more about a chicken than I may know in a long time. But I try my best to do a good job and go off what he says a lot, you know. And I was showing you different birds that had his bloodlines in them and stuff, and I mean, he's just a good guy.
What vaccinations do you use on your farm?
I use the Merrick's vaccine and the Coxivac. That's two things that I had a little trouble with Merrick's one time years ago, so I started vaccinating for it. The Coxivac, it's hit or miss. It's not something that I'm overly concerned with, just for the sheer fact that, like the Tapox 48 from the Philippines, and I know a lot of guys get different, you know, I think even Gator uses a different kind of stuff for his, but all that stuff works. So the coccidiosis, we don't battle it like we used to. If I see some chicks that look like they're kind of getting a little droopy winged or something, you can run that T-Pox on them, the pen's cleared up, everybody's healthy. But the Merrick's, now I did notice a big difference. You're gonna have some green-eyed chickens every once in a while when you start shooting that live Merrick's virus in them. It'll cause some of those chicks to be green-eyed when they get bigger. But the overall health, just the way their body felt and everything, all the chickens since we started vaccinating for the Merrick several years ago seem to just be an overall healthier bird than they used to be. Out here, because it does rain a lot at certain times of the year, I will get bumblefoot on a bird every once in a while. If you take that bumblefoot out, clean it out good, and run that Amtil 500 from the Philippines, if you'll run a 5-day treatment on them, a pill a day for 5 days, after you clean that out, it'll heal up and go away. We don't have a ton of bumblefoot. You know, a lot of it is what it is when they flying down off a roost pole, if they hit a piece of gravel or hit something hard, it'll cut them, it gets that germ in there and causes the bumblefoot. Well, some days here in this part of Alabama, it might rain. I know it does it, you know, everywhere in the country, but if it rains 4 or 5 days in a row. So these birds have got a wet, soft foot pad, being in the mud and the water, and they fly out of these big trees you see around here and hit the ground hard. It will cause me to have some. Now, crook toes, I don't have any trouble with that in any of my bloodlines, but because I incubate, I mean, I'm gonna have some sometimes. So, you know, you just have to coil on that sort of thing and just be on the lookout for it. You can also make a chick, okay, if it's real cold outside, say you got a heat bulb that's close down in a box or something, and you got a baby chick out and it's real cold outside, his feet get really cold, and he goes straight back under there and gets under that heat lamp, that can actually draw his toes. Him heating up too fast can make their toes. And that's a lot of times you'll see where don't look like a bad crooked toe from the incubator, but the ends kind of draw just a fuzz, not enough to affect them, but just a fuzz. That can happen from him being hatched in cold weather and then, you know, being out fooling around in the cold and then go straight back under the heat lamp and getting hot too fast.
Picture yourself here when you started?
Not really. You know, once we started the selling business, yeah, of course I've got high hopes to be even bigger, but of course, you know, I'd never thought about turning it into a business like this. But once we got focused and dedicated to it, you know, decided to make it a business, I've seen us growing because I know how, you know, like I said, kind of go back to what I said earlier, I know how treating people goes a long way, and you know that I know we had that part down pat because we're just good down to earth country people. I mean, we treat everybody the same. It don't matter if they stopping by to buy a trio or a cross pullet. I don't care, you know. And, I just enjoy talking and shooting bull with people, you know.
What has your friendship with Slick Lizard meant to you?
Oh, a ton. I mean, besides anything to do with chickens, like he's just generally, I just have a blast sitting around talking to Jerry. You know, Sindel and I do. We love him and Scott both to death. We hadn't got to go see him in a while because of this COVID, and you know, of course, us going to have the baby here in a few weeks. So, but man, he would give me the shirt off his back, and I know that. You know, I guess that's what makes me like him so much. As far as, I mean, he's helped me a lot with chickens. You know, questions about chickens and that sort of thing, and even vaccinating. I mean, they've helped me a lot with stuff. Those guys have been doing it a long time, and they're really, really good at what they do. Fondest memories, I mean, just hanging out with them when we first started going up there to his barbecues, when he would have them and stuff. He kind of just took us under his wing, which is something he didn't have to do. I mean, there's 400 people there. You know, what helped him pick us out to be so good too? You know what I mean? I mean, he's good to everybody, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird when there's that many people around, all of a sudden you establish a friendship with, you know, because even at the time, we were already getting decent size on our farm and stuff, and selling a lot of birds. But I go up there and I look around, it's like yard after yard after yard. So, you know, I'm still kind of like me and Sindel both. Really, we seem like the little kids when we go up there walking around, because it's just so much to look at, you know. And yeah, I get to see my birds every day, but it's neat to go look at them all. But Fondest Memories, I mean, he's gifted me several different bloodlines that, you know, I couldn't replace them, and he's given me stuff before when, you know, if he hadn't give it to me, there's be times where I couldn't have afforded it, you know what I mean, and get to get my hands on stuff like that. So it's meant a lot over the years.
What did your friendship with Bruce Barnett mean to you?
He was a really good dude too. I mean, we really liked him. He was buying the medicine from us a lot and stuff, and Sindel got to actually go see him more than I did, because she was, you know, taking them the different medications from the Philippines there when we were selling them. But man, each one of those guys have been good to us. Like I said, man, I wouldn't have a bad word to say about any of them guys. And now that Jonas has got it, like I said, he's an outstanding guy too. Y'all love it when you get to go meet him. I mean, just down to earth, you know, just down to earth people. And none of these people that I'm talking about, that's one thing, like, you know, certain farms, like if you were just getting started and you go to one of these farms, some people might make you feel uncomfortable, or like you don't know enough about chickens, or, you know, not really want to have conversation with you just because, like, who are you? You know, you just starting out. No, none of them guys ever made me feel that way. You know what I'm saying? I ask a question, all these different guys I mentioned, they would go out of their way answering my question about something or helping me with something.
What was your fondest memory with your dad?
Oh, he still comes, hangs out with me when he gets a chance. I mean, he stays busy all the time too. But as far as chickens, man, we had a blast getting to be a kid back when you know, when it was legal, and getting to go to the places that he took me to, the different pits and stuff like that. I mean, that was awesome. That's what a lot of people don't understand about it. I get it. Yeah, you know, you have to follow the law and that sort of thing nowadays, but as a kid, I was never exposed to people being bad or fighting and loud and obnoxious and stuff at the derbies. I mean, when you were a kid there, all the old men took care of you, you know, and if you sat out on the bleachers by one of these old men would hand you $10 and be like, here, you know, you play with everybody too, you know, just stuff like that you know. And I hate that kids don't get to do that now. But as far as, you know, there's millions of hunting memories, fishing memories and all that with my dad, but as far as chickens, you know, it would just be that sort of thing, getting to go spend time and hang out at the derbies and stuff like that. And one day, a specific memory, I probably wasn't, and he still got them put up somewhere, but I wasn't 7 or 8 year old. We were somewhere, can't remember the name of the place, but we were at a derby, and I had won me $20. All right, I took that $20, and they had those old school, tall Elmer Fudd looking hats that are flat across the bill, and it had a red rooster and the gray rooster, the old paintings you see of them flying together. It had those on the hats, and I bought me and Daddy both one of those hats. And I'm pretty sure him and Mama's probably still got them put up somewhere, but I used to wear that, and I know I look goofy in it, but I used to wear that hat everywhere. You know what I'm talking about, how they stuck up just way high.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got that, and I was just a little kid, so that was a pretty fond memory.
Want to give thanks to anybody who has helped you along the way?
Oh shoot, I wouldn't know where to start without leaving people's names out, but besides, you know, my mom and dad, and of course, like I said, man, Manny, Jerry, Carol, I mean, there's pretty much all the guys that have farms around here, and even back to when we was first building all this, you know, people would come over and hang out, and you know, they were buying, back when I could sell the products, I was selling a lot of the products, and they were buying them, and that sort of thing's what helped me build the farm. I mean, you can't just snap your fingers and do a farm like this, so every little thing that we made back then just helped contribute to getting it done and being successful with it. And then more than anybody, Sindel, you know, she does I told y'all I'm not smart enough to do all the Facebook and Instagram and all that. I'm just not, you know, I'm good out here, but she's the one behind the scenes that takes a lot of these pictures and videos here and does the Facebook, Instagram, and all that. And if it wasn't for her, it wouldn't be possible, because, you know, I mean, word of mouth gets you around, but not near as fast as social media can nowadays. That goes a long way.
How excited are you in becoming a father, and in a couple months knowing that you'll raise a daughter?
Oh man, that's a whole nother level of excitement, you know. Making a good bloodline with a chicken is one thing, but having that baby on the way has been a totally different feeling. Like, if she don't hurry up and come on, I don't know what size clothes she's going to be able to wear yet, and we've got so many of clothes from up till she's 2 years old. We've got a room full of stuff already, and I drive myself crazy, because everywhere we go, I'm like, well, what if she needs one this size, or what if she needs one that size? You know, I'm driving myself crazy with it, so I'm really excited about that, and she'll be a little future galleta out here, so it's going to be awesome.
And building this farm,
Building you and just helping you out.
It would be impossible without her. I mean, it really would. Not just because of the Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff she does, but there's no way that, you know, it takes two to make any kind of business work as far as the husband and wife goes. Like, without her support in it and coming out, and besides just physically helping me out here, like, if she didn't like it, there's no way I would have been able to spend the amount of time doing the stuff I've done, you know, building this stuff and doing all that. It would never work as a business. Like, it's impossible, you know what I mean? You couldn't. But with her liking it so much, there's been times where I'm like, well, we'll go, you know, I'll get started on that tomorrow. And she's like, well, don't you think we can do a couple more pins before it gets dark? So that just like helps motivate you through it, versus if she was standing on the porch screaming, are you going to come in? You know, that makes a huge difference in how that goes. It really, really does.
we're all like.
Yeah. Everybody, y'all can't see it on the camera, but everybody back there is nodding.
Yeah, man, it's so true.
Because it takes that. I mean, you just have to have that, and you know that they say there's a good woman behind every good man, but it's true because of the motivation part of it. If you don't got nothing to strive for and thrive for and go for, you can't stay out here when it's 25 degrees building pens and moving chickens and busting ice. And I mean, you can't do that. You have to have end goals in sight and stuff to look forward to and a love for it to be able to push yourself and do stuff like that. I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to watch, and I really want to thank these guys. Y'all got to go check out the Outlaw channel on YouTube. It's been a blast spending the day with them, and hopefully they're going to start doing a lot of different farms and bringing y'all a lot of footage from them. Again, this is Anthony Robinson with the Boneyard Game Farm. You can look us up on Facebook, Instagram. You can also give us a call, 256-476-7157. Hope to look forward to meeting some people off this, and we'll definitely take care of you if you give us a call.